Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ali's Take coming to you with the biggest news that has come out in the last couple years. Okay, I know things happened a couple months ago in terms of the transfer market, but biggest news to me, and obviously to Nick as well, my co-host. Ronaldo has returned back home to the biggest. I'll just put this in simplest terms: the greatest footballer to ever grace the field to kick a football, okay, is now at the biggest club in the world. He's returned home, okay, and we're here to talk about it. Obviously, me being a Manchester United fan, somebody, I'll just do a quick introduction before I pass it off to Nick. Quick introduction, Ronaldo, obviously my favorite player. I'm pretty sure as well for Nick. The reason why I started watching Manchester United is because of Ronaldo. Um, so obviously we got a lot to say, and it's pretty surreal what happened. Quick point because of all the slander that's been happening. Obviously, he was supposed to go to City supposedly, and now he's back home, the greatest club in the world. Um, in 50 minutes, up to an hour, he got 1 million likes. Messi's reveal, right? Messi's tweet. Still about 817,000, something like that, 816,000. We'll highball it to 817. Pretty crazy. It's been 17 days for him as well. So, people saying that Ronaldo will be in the headlines and ends up surpassing him. That's what I got to say. But I know you have a lot to say, Nick. So, I'm gonna pass it over to you. And the introduction there.
So first of all, guys, everyone, just have a look at this. Now, no one ever thought this would happen. Okay, take a look at this.
No,
This kid I have.
yeah,
No
no
one
one
ever
did.
seen this happening. Okay, this is the 2018-19 kit. Okay, it's the first one that he wore for the boys. I had to buy it, obviously.
Hmm.
There's a lot. There's a lot to talk about. A lot to unpack here. Okay, so we thought everyone thought he was going to go to Man City. Okay, for a while.
Yep.
Obviously, that didn't end up facilitating it. I'm not sure why. There's a lot of reasons why. There's a lot of reasons why he left the club. Okay. A lot of people are saying that his time at Juve was a waste. Now, I think that it was actually really successful. When he came in, he won everything there was to win. He won Serie A, Coppa Italia, Supercoppa, all that. Only thing that was missing was the Champions League. Now, the problem is, when he came in, it was possibly at the worst time ever. I think that the way that things lined up, the management had the opportunity to sign him, okay, from Madrid, and you're not going to pass that up. But at
No.
that same time, we were basically at the end of our cycle. We lost UCL final 2017, right? That cycle of that team was done, and now we had to rebuild, and we had to forward with a new manager, and we wanted to change the style and all this. And he just happened to be available, so we signed him. Obviously, any club would if you had the opportunity, and he wanted to come here. So I think that people saying that he was a failure, it's just it's not as simple as that. There's a lot more to it. Like he was there for 3 years. All 3 years there was three different managers, of array of different players, different midfield, different like guys up top with him, different guys behind him. DeBalo's playing 1 year MVP of the season, 1 year he was injured, 1 year he's doing nothing. Like there's just so much stuff to unpack with his time at Juve and like the things that happened, and it's just not as simple as he came in, did nothing, and left.
And to get in, a lot of people don't understand, right? Because a lot of people are saying that, like you said, it was a failure, and that before he left, they obviously broke the streak of them basically winning the league every
That
single
was
year.
gonna
But
happen. Like it would have happened sooner, if honestly, than
yeah,
when it did. Like you have to understand, like this team, Chiellini, Bonucci, like this core was there since 2011, and it's now 2021. Like these guys are old. Like all the
yeah,
other players, Pirlo, Pogba, Vidal, Marquisio, Buffon, these guys all left. They're all gone. They're all retired. Lichtsteiner retired. Asamoah, like Patrice Evra, Dani Alves, who we had, like all these guys came and went, and now we have to buy new players, Chiesa, Locatelli, who are all in their
mm,
20s, Arthur, like all these guys that are Luca Pellegrini, all these young guys that are just they have to learn how to win, and you can't just get all these new kids in and expect them to come in and win right away. You know what I mean? And then it's just unlucky that Ronaldo's here when we're trying to get these new kids to come in and help progress us forward. When he's ready to win now, he needs a team that's ready to win today. And this team is not going to be ready to win for another 5 years. That's just the way the
mm,
UCL, I mean, by the way, and that's just the way that it is.
yeah. Yeah, and you can see like teams like Inter, right? They went full out, man. They got Conte is their manager, and as we know, he's kind of like a 1 year type guy. He comes in, he wins everything he possibly can, and then he leaves. And then from my understanding, the only thing that they did win was the league,
Mm,
right? Like they didn't win,
nothing else.
anything else, right? So a lot of people, are coming out and saying that, right, that he came out to be a failure. But again, not a lot of people understand. So
And like,
yeah, I just
listen,
wanted
there's a
to
lot
bring
more
that
to
to him.
this too. Like, I have a lot of notes written down here, so excuse me if I'm looking at the camera. I'm gonna be reading them, but his salary was 31 million net per year. Okay, and when you have a team that you're trying to progress and rebuild, you can't have a guy who's making 31 million net. The next highest paid guy is like the Lick making 8 million or something like that, or Dybala making 7.5 million. You know what I mean? These guys like the pay gap like, in between them is insane, and we just needed that off our wage bill in order to help us progress and sign more players because we can't re-sign Dybala, for example, who runs out of his contract at the end of this year. So
Yeah.
2022, he's out of contract. They're arguing haggling over 10 million, like 11 million extension. We can't give him anything he wants because we have Ronaldo on 31 million a year. So he had to leave for us to progress. I was just hoping that we could win while he was here, and then we'll take the hit, and then we'll rebuild, right? But it didn't happen that way. But like another thing too, which people have to understand as well on his move to Man U, because everyone's getting really excited saying like how he's gonna link up with Bruno and they're gonna do so well and score all these goals. But the thing with having Ronaldo or a player like Ronaldo on your team is he actually will hinder other players. Like there's only so many goals you can score, right? Dybala was on free kicks, penalties. Obviously, Ronaldo's taking all of those. You know what I mean? Same with Bruno. So Dybala went from being Juve's top scorer to being literally non-existent in his first year when Ronaldo was here. Then he found his form back in the second year, but then last year he did nothing again. And that's just like when you have a guy like Ronaldo who's the superstar and he's the main piece in your team, he's the number one guy. Players around him are naturally going to suffer just how it is. Like this is the way that it goes. There's only so
Hmm.
many goals you can score. You're
Exactly.
not going to score 11 goals a game and have Bruno get two, Ronaldo get four. It doesn't work like that. It's going to be 2-1 games. He's going to score one or two every time. You know what I mean? That's how it works. So people have
It's
to
it,
understand that when he's moving too. You know what I mean? He's not
yeah.
Bruno's not going to do the same numbers as he did, which is not a bad thing, but just you have to understand that moving
Yeah, and
forward.
like for example, right? For people, like a great example, like Benzema. Like how much slander did Benzema get when Ronaldo was there?
Exactly. He did
Saying
that job.
useless.
He was that
Yeah,
guy.
exactly. Right now that Ronaldo's guy again, everybody puts Benzema in the categories as one of the
Exactly, because
best
he's not,
strikers in
now
the
he's
world.
able to
So
thrive, right? Because he doesn't
yeah,
have Ronaldo next to him, who
exactly,
also needs to thrive. You can't both do those numbers together. It has to be one or the other.
exactly.
Uh, so some more things that I have now. I'll get to how I feel about it at the end, but a lot of Juve fans are actually happy that he's leaving, which is kind of surprising. But like I was saying, it is better for our club. Uh, where we're at now, we shouldn't have Ronaldo on our club. It's just not like we don't need him. Like, well, obviously we need him, but we don't. He doesn't fit what we're trying to do. We're trying to build a new team, young players. We're trying to progress the squad, and he doesn't fit that. It doesn't make sense. So there's a lot of fans that are happy that he's leaving because we want to look at like Dusan Vlahovic from Fiorentina, Holland, or other players like that are young, up and coming players who can fit in the team and stay for a while. That's who we're looking to pick up and build the squad around, right? You can't build a squad for the future with a guy who's 36 because he's gonna retire. Say he just retires in 2 years, 4 years, then what? You know what I mean? Now we have all these guys who are hitting the peak of their career and we have nothing to build on because he's already left. So that's obviously pretty important. That's where a lot of UA fans fit, and I fit that school of thought as well, but not totally. So I'll get to that later. Another thing I think too is the way that he left the club was just like was wrong in my opinion. I don't think it was like he did it in the best way possible. I think that, but there's more to this too. So let me just. I think that he should have made his intentions known right off the gate after the Euros. He should have said, "Listen, I want to leave, and get me out," because then we would have been able to get rid of him in July and have a replacement now, instead of
Yeah,
him leaving essentially a week before the window closes, 4 days, and now we're struggling to find someone, right? So I think that
yeah,
was pretty shady, but the reason that I think this happened is you guys have to understand that Allegri's back, okay? And he doesn't take shit from anyone. He doesn't care about anyone. And I heard reports on Twitter and from different sources saying that Allegri planned to have Ronaldo, because he's getting older, planned to have Ronaldo play a different role in the team. Last year, every game he wanted to start, he started, okay? I think he sat on the bench 2 games and came on as a sub twice. Every other time, he starts right from the minute number one, okay?
but yeah. Just to put this down. He played in 3,700 minutes, right? So
Yeah.
3,751 minutes throughout the whole year. Okay, just to put that in context, Lukaku probably in the prime. People would say in the prime of his life, one of the best strikers in the world right now. Throughout the whole campaign, played about 3,565 minutes. So just
Yeah,
to put
I,
that in
I think
perspective.
I think in Serie A he had 29 goals in 31 appearances, or sorry, 29 goals in 31 starts, 33 appearances, so two subs.
Yeah.
So Allegri basically, according to reports, said, "Listen, you're not gonna be that guy this year. You're not. That's not you anymore." He came back. He said, "Chiellini's the captain. Dybala's the second captain. So now when Chiellini doesn't start, Dybala wears the armband. He is the main guy that this project is built around now. It's now all about Dybala. Okay." So he said to Ronaldo, "Listen, you're not the main guy anymore. So you're going to start on the bench." And in the first game against Udinese on Sunday, he started on the bench. He didn't even start the game. And he came on, obviously, and scored an offside goal, which was ruled out, and we ended up drawing the game 2-2. But that, for me, kind of showed you a good preview into the season if he would have stayed as to how it would have been. He wouldn't have been the main guy anymore. He wouldn't have been competing with Messi doing these numbers, going for Ballon d'Ors, going for top scorer awards. He would have been essentially a rotation player in our team because Allegri knows we need to progress the squad. And with you here, no matter how good you are or how good you think you are, you're hindering certain advancements from different players, and you have to now do your part and spend time on the bench. And obviously, he doesn't want that. So I think that
Mm-hmm.
after that game, I think he knew in preseason what Allegri's intentions were, and then after that game, it made it crystal clear to him that he's not the main guy anymore, and he doesn't want to stay here after that point. You know what I mean? Because he wants to go somewhere where he's the main guy, and as he should. You know what I'm saying? Like he's the greatest player of all time. I think that he should be the. I would, if it was up to me, I'd have him starting every single game right up top, every single game. But
Mm-hmm.
Allegri's trying to do what's best for the club. Obviously, he has a lot of guidance from the management. Like, it's not just him who's making these decisions. You know what I mean? Like, he has guidance from the management, and like they want to go a certain direction. And Ronaldo just can't fit that role, and he'll never be that player. He's gonna start every game until he retires. That's just the way that he is.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what a lot of people have to understand too as to why he left the way he left. And he did an Instagram post, and he said basically thank you to the fans. He told us, he's one of us, and we're obviously with him for the rest of his career. And I respect that a lot. I mean, that means a lot to me, especially like it was great to see him here. I'm sad to see him leave because, in my opinion, he's the best player of all time. He's the best player that I ever was lucky enough to witness play in the black and white jersey that I've ever seen. I'm truly grateful that I got to see him play there, score great goals, and he gave me honestly memories that'll last with me for the rest of my life. Like I'll always know like that I had 3 years where I got to see him wear this jersey with his name on the back, and I'll always have that. And you know what I mean? No one can take that away from me. So
Mm-hmm.
I think my biggest regret is not seeing him play live. I never went to Italy because of COVID, especially last year. I was supposed to go, and I never got the chance to go and actually see him play. That's like got to be my biggest regret. But like I said, on one hand, I'm happy that he left because this squad needs to upgrade and progress, and there's no one ever bigger than this right here. No one ever bigger than that. This always comes first before any player, any one person, anything. The club always comes first. No matter the players will always come and go, but Juventus, the club, will be there forever. And I think that it's just sad to see him go. Obviously, I would love for him to retire here, but I knew too that he was never going to retire here. Obviously, I knew that eventually
Mm-hmm.
this story would come to an end and he would go somewhere else. I'm kind of happy that he went now, so at least we get money for him because we still owed Madrid money. We basically split the deal up where we pay like a quarter of the 100 million that we gave them every year, right, for 4 years. So Man United obviously paid us the rest of that fee, so now we can not operate on a loss on Ronaldo for FFP and shit.
Yeah.
So all that works out because he would have left next year in 2022 on a free transfer anyways. So everything kind of worked out for everyone. Like I said, even at the end of last season, because there was rumors he was going to leave as we just barely made the Champions League, I even said like, for me it's a win-win if he stays. Greatest player in the world. He's on my club, so it's a win. And if he leaves, it's a win because we get rid of his salary. We're able to progress the squad. We're able to advance and upgrade and renew this team. So either way, it was a win for our team at least. It's just it's just sad to see him go.
No, 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 for sure. And I get that. Obviously, it's great that, we have two different people obviously on the show. You huge Juve fan, you can share that experience, and then obviously myself, who's huge
Well,
Manchester
how do
United
you feel
fan.
that now that he's there now? Like I just told you my story about the time I seen him there and like what it's like for him to leave where we're at. But like, how do you feel that he's now back? Like I never saw
Yeah,
this shit happening. I'm not gonna lie, I
I
never seen this
it,
coming.
Yeah, I don't want to bash. Obviously, it's emotional watching, obviously him leave, but I don't want to ruin that moment. But I am absolutely
No,
ecstatic.
please.
So to
I'm happy to see him go
watch,
back too. I think it's really
no,
great for the
exactly.
story. Like I think if he went to City, they're playing PSG in the UCL group stage, which we're gonna get to later in this video.
Yeah,
So I think that would have been obviously insane, and I think he would have had a great chance to win a lot of trophies with them. But I think that just for the story, man, like this is like a
yeah.
fairy tale.
This is everything that you want as a Manchester United fan as well. Like, before I get into anything, the one thing I wanted to comment on, like for him leaving and for people to understand who don't really watch the Serie A, right? Like to have all this wrapped around Dybala, right, is also not a bad thing because of how good Dybala actually is and like what he does to his squad. Like he can pass, he can do everything. So the fact that Ronaldo left and like you were saying, like Dybala being the main man, the one you're going to rebuild on, obviously has a huge future for Juve as well, right? And then coming forward, I started one of the biggest reasons why I started watching football to begin with was basically because of Ronaldo. I picked Manchester United because of Ronaldo. I watched because of how old I am and in my age, I would only able to see kind of like the last year of him at Man United. I was there for the transfer to Real Madrid, which is at the time the biggest transfer of all time. Still one of the most, right, at like at 94 million, right? So again, having him back in the squad, I personally, we should have went and tried to get him like way before, right? Obviously, all the rumors about him going to City, I didn't see it happening like whatsoever. I know a lot of people switched up, and I know it got pretty close, right, to all that. And I think that one of the rumors was that he didn't go because, like they only offered him a 1 year deal, and Man U offered him two, which is what he was looking for, right? Again, I'm not too sure how true all of that is. Like, he had text messages with Patrice Evra about him
Yeah,
saying he's going to go play
saw
back
that.
for our club, right? So, and it was all tweeted. So again, I think this is great for Ronaldo and Manchester United, right? Like he's going to fit the exact role that we need. I mean, we've been playing with Cavani, who again. He's an older footballer as well, but he just scores goals, right? He plays great off the ball, and obviously Ronaldo's just 10 times better than who he is, right? And that's the thing we need. We have a bunch of creators around him. Like you were saying, right? Like, Juve's rebuilding. We're not rebuilding. We have every piece of the puzzle that we needed and we got in this transfer window. And this is like, I don't want to say it's the cherry on top. Like, I feel like it's even better than that. So, having him here, and a lot of people coming out and saying that he's washed. Again, that's all bullshit as well. Like you were saying, man, this guy scored 29 goals with 2 assists,
Top
right, in
scorer in Serie
33
A last
appearances,
year,
right? Exactly. So the fact that
and the
he's
Euros.
washed, yeah. So it just doesn't make sense to me that people can actually come out and say that. I think him coming to Manchester United is huge. Besides his presence at the club, right? He's going to be scoring goals for us. He plays great off the ball. He just comes with so much experience. Financially, it's great for the club as well. But what he's going to be doing in these 2 years, like I tweeted this out, and people can quote me on this. He's going to turn Greenwood into one of the best strikers, in the league, right? Just with everything that he brings to the table. So I'm super ecstatic about it. I couldn't believe it either, but obviously, me and you were both there with the news that it came out. One thing to also point out as well that I want to bring up because we were talking about how good it is financially. I think 30 minutes after the news came out that he signed for Manchester United, Manchester United's stock goes up by 8%, right? So that's about $250 million in market cap in about 30 minutes. Okay, so that's pretty insane. Like we said, in about an hour, he gets 1 million likes. I mean, this is the greatest football player to ever grace the field. Obviously, the most known athlete, has the most followers on Instagram, everything like that. So this whole move is great for him
Oh yeah,
and us. Obviously, it's great for Juve as well as we just went over, right? So like this whole thing
so
could
win-win for
could not have
everyone essentially.
it could not have went better for anybody, right?
Yeah.
Like, especially what he's going to do for us, and now how many positions we can play, and all that kind of stuff. It's just scary to see what's going to happen to some of the players, right? Like, what's going to happen to Martial, right? What's going to happen to Cavani? Like, where are these players going to go? Because obviously, it's in their contract for them to play,
Mm.
right? So, it's going to take a while for everything to, I want to say, click. I don't want to be the person with negative feedback here, but unfortunately, I would love if we had a better manager managing all these players and all these different pieces. I'm going to say it. I don't think Oli is ready to manage something that this really big picture here. So That's just what I think. Like I said, I've never been so happy before in my life, like about this moment. So, I'm absolutely happy. I know you're obviously happy about the whole thing. Besides everything, so yeah. I mean, if anybody wants to give us any feedback about what they think about the transfer, right? They can let us know. But yeah, I'm having a great time here.
Okay, so moving on now. I have a rumor for you. Now, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna tell you the rumor, and you're gonna either tell me yes or no if you think it's gonna happen or not. Okay? Because it's a pretty big one, and I don't want to like waste too much of our time. So I'll tell you. Tell me yes or no, and then I'll tell you yes or no. Okay? You ready?
Yep.
Mbappe to Madrid.
No,
No. Yeah, definitely not. Not this
it's
summer.
not happening.
Not this summer.
Yeah, yeah,
Next summer,
not this
probably
summer.
not this summer. So
Next summer for sure.
yeah, next summer,
Just not this summer.
next summer, 100%. I think at least.
Yeah.
But the reason why I think that it needs to happen now, though, is because if you look at PSG's front line, okay, they have Di Maria, Mbappe, Messi, Icardi, Neymar. Okay, now all these five guys cannot play together at the same time. You can't play a 5-5 formation. Everyone has certain clauses, certain things in their contracts. For example, Neymar, if he scores so many goals, he gets this bonus. You know what I'm saying? Icardi, same thing. So why would Neymar be like, yeah, I'm happy to sit on the bench and not score goals and get my bonus so if fucking Di Maria can play? You know what I'm saying? Like someone
Yeah.
has to move on so you can fit in and you can work around this team because all these guys are all forwards. They all play the same position. You can't have so many forwards. You know, like we used to sub them in every game. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like I think that someone has to move on. It's looking likely it'll be Mbappe, and that's better for PSG because they need to they'll get the money, right? And they'll also have that space opened up where they can now play Messi, Icardi, Neymar, Di Maria, whatever, and then they can have that rotation. You know what I'm saying? I think they just have too many players.
No, for sure. And then I think the biggest thing to look at here, like we could even see him leave like in the winter. I think the biggest problem why he
Mm.
hasn't left yet is because Real Madrid is not offering enough money,
Yes.
right? I think it's the director came, Leonardo, the director came out and said that it was like about like 160 mil, like
Plus a 10 mil
160.
bonus or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's less than what they paid, which is pretty insane.
Less
Think
than
about
what
how
they
much they
paid
paid at this
to
guy, like
Monaco for
17.
him. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yes, so that's pretty insane to think about. So, again, there the thing to realize here is Perez gets whatever he wants.
He does.
Okay, that's like the very scary thing. So this like feud that's going on between them, because I everybody's come out like the president and the director both come out and said that they know that Mbappe wants to leave, but obviously he's under contract, so it has to go the way that they want it to go. We could potentially even see them bid $2 million a day before the transfer and get everything completed, right? Like I don't feel like Real Madrid lacks in that area when it
Hmm.
comes to money. So the only reason why we haven't seen him go is because they haven't offered him, enough yet. But it's just too close to the transfer window,
Yeah, I think
right?
it's
You know
too
what I
late.
mean?
Like I think that with like how the Messi situation unfolded, where at the beginning, obviously PSG's thinking we're gonna have Mbappe, Icardi, Neymar, Di Maria on our team, and that's gonna be how we're gonna go forward. And then all of a sudden Messi can't sign because of the La Liga rules, and now that means he has to find a new club. So PSG's like, well, if we can get Messi, we'll get him. They get him, and then it creates this problem where now it's too late now. Where Mbappe's like, well, now PSG's like someone has to leave. Who's it gonna be? We're not going to accept a bid for less than what we paid for Mbappe 4 years
Exactly.
ago. Now, it makes no sense to them. Even 5 years ago, I think it was. It was 2017 or whatever year it was. It was 2017 that they bought him in the summer. So they're not gonna. They're obviously not gonna get less than what they already paid for him, and they still owe Monaco money for that deal as well. So they're not gonna like that. Makes no sense. And then
Exactly.
it's just the way things unfolded. It's kind of unfortunate, and obviously had Messi joined PSG like in end of June or even after the Copa America and Euros, then we could have seen Mbappe leave potentially the time Messi signed. But because of the
Exactly.
way
Yep.
things happened, it just kind of didn't work out that way. I think that the Madrid move for Mbappe is actually really good for his career. I think that Madrid will build a team around him like they've done for every superstar they had, Ronaldo or Raul before him and all these guys. He'll be the
Yep.
face of the club for the next however many years he signs for,
He'll be the
10
face
years
of
if
the
he wants.
league.
The
He'll be
face
the
of the
face of the
league.
league.
The face of the
Yeah, because there's
100%.
nobody else there left.
Yeah, that league's in the mud right now. He'll be the face of the league. They're gonna rebuild. Maybe they won't. They're not gonna win the UCL this year, even if he went there, especially. But they could.
Hmm.
But they probably won't. But you see what happens. Like they signed the Modrics, the Bales, the Benzema. They build that team around Ronaldo, for example. They win 3 in a row. Well, 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
Uh, so I think that it's a good move for him. I would love to see him in a Madrid kit. I think that'd be really cool. I just don't think it's gonna happen now. If it did happen, I'd be very surprised, and that would probably
Yeah,
cap off the craziest transfer window we've ever seen. Messi moved,
ever.
Ronaldo
Yeah,
moved, Mbappe moved,
yeah. The only thing
Donnarumma,
yeah, the only
everyone
thing that would
moved.
stop that
Ramos
is
moved.
probably Holland moving would probably be something to to
Cap it
add to that.
off.
But it's still not out of the obviously out of the question that he doesn't move. Like we said, Perez gets whatever he wants.
Yeah.
The one thing to note here, obviously before we cap off, because I'd love to see Mbappe there as well. I think it's great for his future. I think if he leaves, he'll. Like don't get me wrong. Obviously, Messi, Neymar, all these people do have things to teach Mbappe. He's the youngest out of all of them,
Yeah.
but I think he grows more once he goes to if he were to go to Real
I think
Madrid,
he
right?
has that ego too, where he wants to be the main guy, like, and he wants to
I mean,
kind of
wouldn't
take
you though,
over.
right?
Yeah, no, 100%. And
You
and
know
he,
what I
and he
mean?
wants
Like
to
he's
like take over, and he
yeah.
wants to be the main guy. He doesn't want to be in anyone's shadow. He doesn't want to like. I think that he's at that point now too, where he's 22 and he's about to like start coming up to his prime. He still has like 3 years left of being a kid before he actually becomes 25, 26. Then he hits his prime, 27, 28. You know what I mean? So he's got a lot of
Yeah.
time. But I think he's just ready now to like. Already won the World Cup. You know
No,
what I mean? Like, he's
exactly.
ready now just to be that guy at some other
And
club.
like, and I think I should have said this earlier to kind of get people who are watching mad earlier. But he right now, if he stays on PSG, besides Ramos, he's not on a team of winners, right? So that's something to point out. I don't really care how mad it makes people.
I like
The
that.
people on his team. The people on his team aren't winners, right? Like he's been with winners, obviously on France, right? Them during the World Cup, more than PSG, I would say, when it comes to winners there. But Real Madrid have what it takes, right? Again, they're one of the biggest clubs ever, right? And especially the way they run their team and everything. Like before, what they made it to the semifinals of the Champions League, right? And they almost ended up winning the league. Like Atletico almost choked that, right? So again, with the players that they have, they're still winning. They're
Mhm.
they're full of winners. So
Mhm.
I can see Mbappe going. The one thing to point out, before we end, obviously this take here, because something that's come out from the director, right? He says that we've built a team scenario for our players this summer, and we will ensure that nobody destroys that. Right. So that's pretty crazy to think about because of what they did this transfer window, and what's most likely going to happen to them, like we talked about back in 2023, once they get sanctioned, and once people actually deal with the problem they have having too many people on the salary. So, yeah. But besides that, I would love to see him go. I still hope that he does go, but I don't think it's happening.
We'll have to see what happens with that in the future.
Yeah, exactly. We will see.
Okay, moving on now. We want to go through. Obviously, yesterday we had the UCL group draws. I think on Wednesday the last couple teams finally played out their last games and were
Yeah.
able to qualify. So we got to see everyone where they all sit and what pots and all that. So do you want to just go through the groups themselves and like we'll just kind of give our takes on who you think's gonna win, get second, or what? You want to do that?
Yeah. We can comment on that. Obviously, there's some groups. I think it's what Group G. I don't think anybody wants to hear about that. But yeah, no, we can definitely give our takes
Yeah, that
on
one
some of them.
stinks.
Yeah, we won't spend that much time on
Okay.
them. But yeah, we can go over them.
So Group A is Man City, PSG. Imagine Ronaldo went to Man City, would have been crazy scenes.
Yeah,
RB
yeah.
Leipzig, and unfortunately for them, Club Bruges. Now, who do you think's gonna win and get second first?
I 100% think PSG is gonna win. If they don't win the group, like even that milestone there just shows that again they're not winners. But I see PSG getting first. I think that's an obvious one, and then City second. So
I think I am not a believer in the PSG hype. I think they're gonna get eliminated in the like they're not gonna win the UCL this year, and I think that City beat them in the knockouts last year. Way different team. No Ramos, no Hakimi, no Donnarumma, no
yeah,
Messi, Wijnaldum, whatever. But I actually think City will take like 4 points off them, maybe a win and a draw away. I think City will win the group, PSG second, and then there's no way Bruges gets more than 1 point out of this group. I think they're gonna go right down to nowhere, no man's land, Leipzig into
yeah.
Europa League.
Yeah, no, I can see that as well. I just besides the opposite of I say PSG are winning, but we'll move on to Group B here. Obviously it's Atletico, Liverpool, Porto, and Milan. I think this is
Hmm.
the best group, right? I think that's what we talked about. I
Yeah,
would love if Milan was in Group A. That would have been
crazy,
one of the best groups
crazy
we ever
group.
saw. But yeah, I think okay. I do really hate to see it. I do see Atletico winning the group again.
Mm.
I think they're still a scary team. And then just in order of what we have it, right? I think Atletico wins. I think Liverpool gets second. And it's just a mix up between Milan and Porto. I don't think Porto has what it takes, and I don't think Milan has what it takes to beat these two teams.
Mm.
So, but it's football, so anything can happen.
Yeah, I think that this group, like if you look at, for example, Man City's group, right? You have, for example, PSG at the top and Club Brugge at the bottom, right? There's a huge gap between City and Club Brugge. In this group, only one other group is like this, which we'll get to later. But this group, it's like the top team, say Liverpool and Milan, it's like close. It's like this close. You know what I mean, instead of it being
Yeah,
this big gap, it's close. Every team is pretty close to each other. Like obviously, Liverpool is better than Porto, but Porto could beat Liverpool. You could see that happen. They could
yeah,
draw them
100%.
at home, or they could actually steal like a 2-1 win and beat them. And same with Milan. So really, anyone could win this group. Like I don't think Milan or Porto will win the group, but they could both come second, for example. Uh yeah, I don't know. I think I'm probably gonna go with you. I think Atletico, Liverpool, and then Milan will beat Porto. I think. So that's
Yeah, like
that's my
uh,
my three.
and especially the when they played the last time they met, like it was just insane how
Mhm.
dominant Atletico was.
Mhm.
Right, they just know how to play. They're so experienced, especially the players on there. But at the end of the day, I do. At the end of it, I'll just make a take right now or prediction right now. At the end of it, I do see Liverpool going farther than Atletico this year.
Yeah, I can
I
probably see
don't know
that
what
too.
it is, but yeah,
Okay, moving on. Group C now. It's a Dortmund group, so we have Lisbon, Dortmund, Ajax, and Besiktas. Now, Lisbon is definitely a team you should watch out for. They just won the Liga NOS last year, right? Ajax is always like good and in and amongst it. It's just they don't. I don't think they have that same team. I feel like with Ajax, every couple years they'll have that one team where like all their youth players, like for example when they beat us and whoever else in Madrid, they had like Ziyech, De Jong, De Ligt, Donny Van de Beek, all these guys that were like just gross at the
Mhm.
time, right? I think that they're kind of lacking there. This year they have a few good names, but I don't think they're strong enough. I think Dortmund will take this group. I think Lisbon will get second, Sporting, and I
Sporting.
think that Besiktas gets fourth. Ajax goes to Europa.
Yeah, I think if if Dortmund don't win this group because they struggle so much. Everybody has high hopes for them. I don't have high hopes for them at all anymore from what they went through. Almost winning the league and then just bottling it, and
Mm,
it's happened so many times. If Dortmund don't win this league here, right, and don't go as far as they need to, I do see Holland leaving sooner, way sooner than we expect, right? Like this is somebody who's going to take over the mantle from obviously our boy Ronaldo just because of how similar they are. He's got to be on a team that's going to take him as far as he possibly needs in this competition. So I hope to see it. I'm predicting Dortmund go first. I do have Ajax second,
hmm
and then Sporting and Benfica's there.
Okay. Group D now. We have Inter is as pot A or pot one. Real
Mm.
Madrid, Shakhtar, and a new team from Moldova. First time ever qualifying for the UCL, and it's the first time a Moldovan team has ever been in the UCL. FC Sheriff. I'm gonna go right off the gate. Everyone is getting 6 points off them in this group.
Yeah, I don't think they get. I'm
Not
sorry
one
to
point.
say,
Everyone's getting
I don't
six
think they
right
get.
off, right
They're
off their
there for
head.
the experience, great for the club, obviously because of the TV money and people buying tickets and everything like that. I do not see them getting a point whatsoever. Thank thank you for being in the Champions
No,
League.
great job. Like
Yeah,
seriously.
yeah,
But you're
but
gone.
yeah, no,
You're out.
yeah, yeah. I do see Real Madrid winning it, and I do see Inter getting second, obviously.
Yeah, I think Madrid's gonna win too. I know,
Yeah,
like,
hundred
because
percent.
this is pretty much a rerun of last year's group, minus instead of Sheriff, it was Mönchengladbach as the fourth team.
Yeah.
So I like obviously these teams literally played all three of them have played each other last year, and Shakhtar beat Inter. I don't know if that'll happen. Or no, they actually drew Inter on the last day to send Inter to fourth, and Shakhtar ended up getting third to go to Europa. I think that I don't know. Inter obviously got weaker, especially in this summer.
Hmm.
I don't know. And Shakhtar got a new manager. It's the same guy from who managed Sassuolo last year. He's actually really good. I don't know if you haven't watched a lot of Sassuolo, but he
I
is
have not.
actually really good. I don't know, man. I fucking hate Inter, so I'm gonna go ahead and say Madrid, Shakhtar, Inter goes to Europa.
Okay,
Sheriff gets out.
okay. And the one thing that we have, like our theory that me
Fucking
and you
hate
talk
Inter,
about a
man.
lot, is that Martinez has a lot of rumors that he was going to Spurs, that he
Spurs,
was
yeah.
leaving the club, and we always have a theory that when that happens to a player, they never play
Mhm.
good, right? Like after they have rumors about them leaving, they never come back in form. So, yeah, I
Gotta
mean,
be careful,
we'll
man. They
yeah,
gotta
we'll
be
see how it
careful.
goes. Well, going over to Group E here. So obviously it's Bayern, Barcelona, Benfica, and then
Kiev.
Dynamo?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kiev. I'm thinking obviously Bayern win this like
Mm,
110%.
I
I'd
think so
actually go
too.
as far to say I know this is just like us reaching here, but I would even go as far as say Benfica getting second. Like I don't see Barcelona doing squat, man. I don't think they have the team. I don't
Fuck,
think they have the team
man.
for it. I don't think they have the coach for it. I just don't think they have the resources for this. I think Benfica on a, and obviously Ligue NOS becoming or being considered a top five league now, and League One getting pushed out there. So I do see some of the Portuguese teams being a lot better than they were last year, and I just see Bayern being a lot worse. So
I'm just right off the gate just to get out of the way. I'm putting Bayern in first too. But I don't think any of these
hundred
teams
percent.
touch Bayern. I think Bayern could
Yeah,
actually potentially get like 12 points out of this group. Like that's literally 5 out of 6 wins.
yeah.
Maybe they draw or whatever away to Barca maybe or Benfica whatever. I
Hmm.
think there's a thing. Okay, I've always been Ronaldo over Messi. Okay, and Messi's obviously always been at Barcelona. I fucking hate Barcelona anyways, like even though Messi left, like I have nothing against Messi. I hate Barcelona. Like
Yeah.
Juve and Madrid are like better friends than Juve Barcelona. Okay, you know what I mean? Like when Ronaldo scored the bicycle kick, everyone did the standing ovation. We like Madrid. Okay, I like
Yeah.
Madrid. I hate Barcelona. I hate them. With that being said, though, I don't hate them enough to say Benfica will do better. I don't hate them that much. I think that truthfully, I think that the top two are pretty solidified. I like because don't get me wrong, Barca's shit. Like they're bad this year. I think that they're actually
They're
really
very
shit,
bad.
and they're
Very
even
bad.
lucky that they got a draw on the weekend. Like I think they're horrible, but I just don't know, especially with fans at home, if like 'cause they played Kiev in the group last year, beat them both times. I think they'll beat them again. It's just if Benfica can beat Kiev and take points off of Barcelona and how many points, because I think Bayern will beat them both anyways.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's not about who beats Bayern. It's
Yeah, it's
about
what
who beats Barca. You know
yeah
what I
each
mean?
other.
Because like
Yeah,
you're not going to be taking points off
yeah.
Bayern. Obviously,
Barca. Yeah,
anything can happen, but like
Barca
I don't
could
see a
beat
shot.
Bayern for sure. Like, anything can happen, but I don't see that. Like, nah.
No,
They put
no.
eight
I
on their
think
head
there's like a
last
bet.
time
Yeah,
in
yeah,
one
yeah, it's just
game.
embarrassing. It's
I don't
embarrassing.
see that happening, but we'll have to see how that goes. But I'm
But
gonna
I mean,
go. Go ahead.
it'll be really similar here, right? Because last time, basically Messi wasn't playing when they played last
Mm,
because he went ghost.
mm.
So
It's like pretty
he's
much.
basically not.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah, they played with 10 men last time.
yeah.
So
At
again,
least
he's
now
not
they'll
going to
have
be playing
11.
against.
Maybe they'll be better. We'll have
Exactly.
to
So
see.
maybe they could possibly win.
We'll have to see. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the same way the group's been drawn. Bayern, Barca, Benfica, Kiev. You're gone.
Yep. Yeah, that's
Uh,
all right.
E
Yeah,
F
but
Group F.
I'm excited for this one.
Okay,
Okay,
it's a good. It's a
to list
great
them
draw
off.
for you.
Yeah, Villarreal, Man U, obviously Atlanta, Young Boys. Man U's taking this 110%.
That's what I have.
Especially, and I thought they're going to take it when we watched the draw live, right? But Man U will take this, especially now that we have Ronaldo. Like this is his competition, right? There's not going to be no thing that
I
happened in the
forgot
Europa
you
League
had
where you can't take our
Ronaldo.
chances.
Oh my
Yeah, I know. So
god.
now that we have Ronaldo, this league is shut down. I think we I think we win every single game. I don't think we draw or lose a game this whole time. So I think we take every single game, and obviously I see us with the most points, and I see us in first. I like Atlanta, but it's between them or Villarreal. I say Villarreal will get second just because of how they play. They're scummy, man. You know what I mean? They play great defense. They'll get you on the counter, right? They'll get you passing. You got to pass all the way back to the goalie when you're on a counter attack because of how good they play defense. So I would say them second, Atlanta, and then Young Boys, third and fourth.
See, Atlanta is a very like offensive team. They play a lot better against teams who attack them. Anyway,
Yeah.
like they beat Liverpool too. I remember like in the group stage the other year. So for me, Man U wins this group too, especially with Ronaldo. There's no way he doesn't put at least 7 on Young Boys' head and at least 3 on Villarreal.
Yeah.
Atalanta, same thing. Like they are susceptible to get countered. I know Ollie likes to do that. I don't think they're gonna take many points off United, if any. So nah, I gotta go with my boys though, my Italian boys. They're gonna pump Villarreal, man. It's gonna go Man U, Atalanta, Villarreal, Young Boys. You are gone. Get out.
Okay. Okay. I
Okay.
see that.
Group
Okay.
G now. This group is a lot similar to Group B in the sense that there's no, for example, Manchester United, Young Boys, right? This
Yeah,
group,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like Lille, Sevilla, Salzburg, and Wolfsburg. So it's like it's pretty
But the gap is
close.
more down here. You know what I mean? Like
No,
before
like
we put in like the gaps like that, but
yeah,
now
this
it's like
gap's like
that.
it's a low. Like this is by far the worst group. Like
Oh yeah,
as far as
I'm not
talent goes.
excited to. Yeah, I'm not excited to watch this. I
If
do
you,
think
go ahead.
I was gonna say I do think Sevilla get first for sure.
If you put like Man U, Bayern, or Barca, Juve, Chelsea, Atletico, Liverpool, like any one of them, Madrid, Dortmund, any one of those teams, they win this group guaranteed. Like 100% clear
Oh
favorite.
yeah,
I think there's no clear favorite in this group, so it's kind of hard to call. I like Sevilla too. I don't know though. You think Sevilla's gonna win it?
the thing is, I know Lille's just coming off because they
Title?
obviously won. Yeah, they won last year, right, for League One. The thing is, for them to obviously get those, to get the points to win the match, they're just playing teams that I think are a lot worse than Sevilla,
They
right?
are.
So it makes them look a lot better, right? Like again, we've seen some of the players on different teams, right? In terms for the Euro, Yilmaz,
Doku.
couldn't really do much. He's the best player, obviously, I think is Renato Sanchez, and I think he plays a huge part, but. I don't think Lille is ready to be playing teams with this much experience. Like Sevilla is a very experienced team. I'm not saying they're like one of the best teams in the world, but they're very experienced in European football, right? So I think they take advantage of this group and they end up going first and obviously getting out of the league. I do see Lille getting second at least. I'm just not convinced about Wolfsburg or Salzburg.
No,
So
me neither. Yeah,
yeah.
I think just to go against the grain a bit, I think I actually like Lille. I like what they got going on. I like Jeremy Doku. If he's is he on loan or is he still there? I think he's still there. I like him a lot. I like the Canadian striker David. I think his name's
Yeah.
David. I like Renato obviously. I like Yilmaz in the league. He was a lot better than at the Euros. Obviously, he went Ghost Pro. It's hard to bet against Sevilla, but I'm just gonna just for the bands, I'm gonna go Lille, Sevilla, Wolfsburg to Europa, Salzburg. Get out.
Yeah. Yeah, I
You're
see
gone.
Salzburg getting last, Wolfsburg at least
You're
getting
done.
third there. Going over to
Yeah,
Group
last one.
H, this one pretty entertaining. I know I really
Top
hate to
heavy
do this
this
to you.
one.
Yeah, I say Chelsea, because it's Chelsea, Juve, Zenit, and
Malmo. Yeah.
Malmo. Yeah, I'm going with Chelsea first. So
Mm. Fair. They won. They
and
won a Champions
Juve
League.
second. Yeah, I go Chelsea first, Juve second, then Zenit and Malmo.
See, Chelsea without Lukaku, I'd say Chelsea win this group. Chelsea with Lukaku, I'm now very confident that Juventus will win this group.
Yeah, one
Just you
thing that
have to
we talked about
understand.
before,
You have to understand. Okay.
Lukaku cannot. Yeah, you say you know better
Lukaku
than I
played
do.
against you like Bonucci and Chiellini 7 times. Okay, he played against them with Inter, Man United, once, not twice in the UCL the one year. The game they lost, by the way, that Ronaldo
Yeah,
scored in. Actually, funny enough.
yeah,
Uh, and for Belgium, he scored 2 goals,
yeah,
both pens. And funny enough, they were both this year, this summer. Like
yeah,
the
yeah,
one goal was up for Inter in the league in like May, and then he scored out for Belgium. Obviously when they lost. And funny enough, when he scored those pens, they actually lost both those games. Basically, what I'm trying to say is Lukaku is the exact type of striker that he's like a classic, like a vintage striker. He's like an old time striker. He's the exact kind of striker that guys like Bonucci and Chiellini, who are all 37, have been playing against their whole careers. They're not no Haaland. They're not no Mbappe, new brand, new breed striker, right? He's very
Mhm.
old school, and that's just perfectly suited for them. I promise you that Delict will not sniff 1 minute on the pitch. It'll be Chiellini, Bonucci. It'll be locked down on Lukaku. He won't even smell the ball. And I have obviously have an insane bias, crazy bias coming out of me. It's crazy. But we just lost our best player. We're winning this group. We're gonna take 3 off Chelsea at home and 1 away for 4 points. We're gonna
Yeah,
slap Zenit and we're gonna slap the shit out of Malmo. We're taking this group. Chelsea second, Zenit third, Malmo
yeah,
fourth. You're gone.
yeah. I see Zenit getting third, but I just have it the other way around. I do have Chelsea winning the group, but like you said, with Lukaku, and I think I have like a bias towards Lukaku now because of how many
He's
people
gonna
are
score
saying that.
4 goals on us, and I'm gonna look like a fucking idiot. But it is what it is, man.
But we'll see. I don't see it happening. I do think this Chelsea team is better than the last Inter team. So again,
Mm,
that could change everything.
that
But
helps him, yeah.
uh, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I have Chelsea getting first. I don't see Lukaku scoring, but I do have him up there for first. So
Fair enough. That's our group
mhm.
stage predictions done.
Yeah, again, like always, if anybody has anything different, if people are saying our takes are horse shit or they're the best takes
Please
you've
tell
ever
me.
heard, please tell us. Please give us
That's
some
the point.
feedback, like whatsoever.
Okay, you know what? Before we have one more thing to do for this long form video, but before we get to that, do you want to comment on not the women's awards because it was all Barca women, but the men's awards, which was actually dominated by Chelsea, except for one I think was actually
Ye-
the defender of the year. Uh,
an attacker, an attacker.
oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Because they got keeper, midfielder, player, and coach, defender and
yeah,
attacker. So
yeah,
the UEFA awards obviously were going on during the group stage draw, so we
yeah,
can just kind of go through it a bit. So the goalkeeper of the year for UEFA, it's like a UEFA thing. So I think this includes like the Euros, UEFA Euros obviously, and the Champions League.
hmm
So the keeper of the year for the UEFA keeper of the year, not the team of the year, which is different from FIFA. Okay, so everyone knows it's
yeah,
different. The UEFA keeper of the year was Mendy, the Chelsea
yeah,
keeper. I think
yeah.
he deserved it. They conceded like no goals like the whole time he was there.
Set a
So
new record.
set a
So
record. Yeah, I mean, I don't. What else you want to say? The guy doesn't let goals in. Like, what do you want from him? Who you gonna give it to?
yeah, that's needless to say. Like obviously he deserved it. I don't think there was a keeper out there who did better.
I don't think so either. Yeah,
Um, Before we comment on the defender right after about who won it,
horrible.
let's go over midfielder. Obviously, it was Conte. I
Mhm.
knew it was going to be Conte because of who won. Basically the player,
Yeah,
right, of the year, UEFA Player of the Year. So I knew
yeah.
it was Conte. I don't think anybody has anything bad to say about Conte.
No,
He's obviously the best center
yeah.
defensive mid in the
The
world. So
nominees were Conte, Jorginho, and De Bruyne. De Bruyne did not deserve it, so it's Jorginho or Conte. And obviously, Jorginho is probably going to win the other award, so they're like, "Fuck, we'll give it to Conte." Which
yeah,
you could easily give it to him or Jorginho. I think he deserves it. By the way, he's a great player and very
yeah, and
important in
then
that team.
exactly. Oh yeah, huge. Like we said, best center defensive mid in the world. Like this
Mm,
guy's price tag, and the thing is, nobody really wants to bid for this guy because you're just not going to get him right. He's
mm,
obviously solidified in
mm.
Chelsea. He fits. Not only is he the best in the world, but he fits their system
He's gonna be a
absolutely. So like,
legend. He's gonna be a Premier
oh,
League and
for
Chelsea
sure,
legend when he retires. 100% he will.
for sure, he's
World
so
Cup,
good.
Champions League, Premier League, dude. This guy's got it all.
And for those and yeah, and one thing, just a quick reminder for those who who don't know how these players are chosen, right? So it's 24 coaches, which basically participated in the UEFA Euro 2020. It's 80 coaches of the clubs that participated in the group stages of the Champions League, and it's 55 journalists selected by the European Sports Media Group.
And obviously,
Okay,
coaches
so
don't mean just like managers. It means like like the staff or like whatever. Like certain, it's like
yeah,
picked by certain people, obviously.
obviously because there's not 80 coaches. So just in case you guys didn't know,
Yeah.
that's how these people are chosen. So going back to defender here, the one who won was Ruben Diaz. Uh,
This guy, I don't know how they keep giving him this guy awards, bro. What did this guy do to
that's
win? What?
I would honestly rather see like Thiago Silva, Rudiger being chosen here, but to go over here, just why he was also chosen as well. He did have an 11 appearances. He did have 6 clean sheets. Okay, about 852 passes completed. It was about 1.3 tackles per game. I'm not convinced. I think he is very, very, very overrated.
Oh.
I think he was very exposed during the Euros, like a lot of players were.
Mm.
So I'm not too sure how he's picked. He did have about 217 points, in regards to in UEFA, right, to get chosen. For his second closest was Azpilicueta with 115 points. So basically 102 points more, right? And I'm thinking this is in regards to the fantasy here. So that's pretty big. Again, 6 clean sheets in 11 games is pretty impressive. But again, I don't rate him that high.
Yeah, I just don't think he's like the best defender. I don't think he deserved it. I think they got that he definitely got found out on Portugal. I think that
Yep,
I mean they
he was
lost the
exposed.
UCL final. I mean, I think that I used to think that Virgil van Dijk was by far the most overrated defender I've ever seen. I've always thought Chiellini was way better than him, but obviously when you're in the Premier League, you get way more coverage, way more eyes.
Premier League tax. Yep.
Yeah, and a lot of people are also more like biased towards the Premier League players anyways, because you just
Yep.
look at it's the best league in the world, right? So you look at all the people who do it in the Prem, you think that they're obviously better than someone who does it somewhere else. And as I said, which I'll say again, is that there's just not a lot of eyes on Serie A, so people don't watch Chiellini week in, week out. They only see him at the Euros, and they're like, "Holy shit, this guy's so great." Well,
Yeah.
yeah, he's been great. You just don't watch him. So,
Exactly.
but like I was saying, VVD very overrated. Ruben Diaz could potentially take the cake. Hall of Fame, all-time most overrated fucking player I've ever seen. I never
I
thought.
don't rate him
I
whatsoever.
think
Yep.
that Aymeric Laporte is way better than him. I think Laporte's
In
way
in
better than
terms
him.
of in terms of defending, I think Laporte is better than him,
and like
especially
ability.
coming from from La Liga. It's just Ruben Diaz. Obviously, he's younger, he's more athletic, he's faster,
Ah,
jumps higher, right,
fair
stronger.
enough, man. Fuck.
So he goes into tackles harder. But I think personally, and also John Stones. I think Laporte and John Stones defending wise, like actual pure defensibility, are better than Ruben Diaz. But again, when you're launching into tackles like he is, right, you're gonna look a lot better,
Hmm.
right, because of that. But going forward here, we're obviously looking at the attacker. And we did talk about him earlier. Obviously, it's Haaland.
The
Crazy
fucking goat.
stats, right? Yeah,
Hmm.
8 appearances, 10 goals, 2 assists. Minutes per goal, 70 minutes. Shot conversion is about 38.5%. That stat I'm not too highly. I don't have that much knowledge about, so I'm not too sure if that's good or bad. But I know that scoring or having 12 goal contributions in 8 games is obviously amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty
And the
good.
one thing we said before, the person who's going to take over the mantle from Ronaldo, just because of how similar they are, will be Holland.
He's
So
20 years old, top scorer um, of the UCL this year. He is the forward of the year. I'm happy with that. I think that's a good pick.
yeah,
He's
he's
really
I think
good.
he's
He's
ridiculous.
really
Yeah,
good.
so
If they
I
went
rate
farther,
that
he would have done a lot better too. So it's just the fact that his team's kind of holding him back a little bit, but that is what it is.
exactly.
Yeah.
And obviously, going to the last one here, one thing that me and you agree on, which not a lot of people agree on, which is weird, right? Not a lot of people agree on
I'm gonna
this.
tell you why they should agree. You go ahead. I'll dive into this. Don't worry.
Jorginho wins UEFA's Men's Player of the Year award. Highly deserved. People say it on
Oh
Twitter that
my
he's
God,
the
yes.
worst person to win this award,
I love
which
that.
which I get because of the people who won it before. Obviously, Andre, like Iniesta,
Yeah.
Ronaldo, like those
Whoever.
players,
Yeah.
right? But to say he's the worst player to win the award, for what he's won and how good he played, again, I'll let you take over this. But
Listen,
I think,
let me tell you guys something, okay? No, what do you think,
yeah.
please? Sorry, I'm getting
Oh no, I
emotional.
think 100% he should have won this. I don't think there's anybody in this league or because this UEFA basically went on for how they played in the league and in the Champions League and in the Euros here, right? Like they looked at everything that he's done throughout the year, right, for this award. I think he's played phenomenal. I don't think there's anybody on this list who deserves better than him.
Listen, if you think that Jorginho is bad or does deserve this award, you simply don't know ball. Simply don't know ball. If you watch him play, you have to understand there's scoring. Like a lot of people just think like, okay, you have to if you have 5-star skills, if you score goals or if you drop dimes in the box, like KDB does, for example, that those are the best players that you have to win. People don't
Mm-hmm.
understand like the shit that Conte does, like off the ball, where he's like pressing, even when he's not winning the ball back, he just when Conte's pressing and shit like that. When you watch Jorginho, the way that he retains the ball, like he'll get the ball and he won't lose it every time. It's like 100% capacity completion. He retains the ball, keeps the play going, keeps the flow going, like wins the ball back. Maybe he's slow, maybe he's not that elegant on the ball. Like the job he does for both Italy and for Chelsea is you can't it's invaluable. You can't put a price on that. Like the shit that he
Mm-hmm.
does on the field. And it goes to show that the guy won the Euros and the Champions League. Who else won the Euros and
And
the
he's a
Champions League?
starter, and he's a starter,
And he starts
right? Like,
every game. Like he was
yeah.
integral to both teams. Like he was a very important piece to both teams. When you guys watch him, you can see like it's not flashy, and a lot of it's like lateral passes or like back passes, but you just see like this guy when he picks it up, he doesn't lose possession. He retains possession. He'll grab the ball, pull it back, pass to this guy, pick it up, pull it back, pass to this guy, pick it up, hold it, play a long ball. You know what I mean? Like he does like he's very good at making decisions. He's very good at winning the ball back. He's very good at keeping the ball too, and that's having someone like that at the heartbeat of your midfield. To have Conte running around, to have Marco Verratti running around, that enables those players to be successful when you have someone like that who's always
Yeah.
so solid and behind them. You know what I mean? And I think that, like I said, if you don't think that he deserved it, you sir don't know ball. Simple as
No,
that.
and I agree. I think
Simple.
just enough being a crucial part in them winning the Champions League and
And then
winning the Euro. I
very
think
big
that
in winning the Euro.
alone, doesn't shouldn't have started any conversation at all. But again, it's just how people think. It's a lot of bullshit that goes around in terms of soccer. Saying Ronaldo's chalked.
Yeah.
Saying this guy doesn't win it. Again, it's a lot of bullshit that goes around. So don't
Hmm.
believe everything you hear, right? Obviously, but that's just how we think. I think each award besides Ruben Diaz is definitely 100% deserved
I
here.
think so too.
Yeah, and especially again, just go over it. Manager of the year,
Oh
obviously
yeah.
Thomas Tuchel. So
So that could have gone either way because obviously Mancini won the Euro with
yeah,
Italy.
and then he won that.
We could argue this back. I think we already talked about this on a different video. We could argue this back and forth. I actually think that Mancini deserved it more than Tuchel
Hmm.
did, but I'm not mad that Tuchel won it because I think that both of them did something very spectacular this year and very unique to each of them. Like this guy came in January with a team that was struggling, they were failing, and he won the Champions League. So like that's a crazy feat. On the other hand,
That
obviously,
alone is why I put him in there.
yeah. And on the other hand, obviously, Mancini came into a team that didn't qualify for the World Cup, that was in shambles, that was, you know, they're losing passion, and he brought the team together. He united Italy
Mhm.
as a country as well as the team itself. Everyone, were playing to the best of their ability, and he led us to a historical run where we beat Austria, we beat Belgium, we beat Spain, we beat England all the way to the final. You know what I mean? And we
Mhm.
went undefeated in the groups. We scored 7 goals, conceded 0. I mean, it could go either way. I think
Very
that
good.
both are great achievements. I think that the Champions League is by far the hardest competition to win, probably on the planet. So
Yeah,
him coming in
for sure.
half a season to win it, I think that's obviously incredible. So like I said, could have gone either way. I would have picked Mancini. Even though I have a bias, I still think that what he did. I guess my bias is because I'm closer to the team, so I know a lot more of like how low it actually got to where it is now. So
Yeah.
that's probably why I think that he should have won it. But yeah, either way, I'm happy with that too. Tuchel, yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, regardless who won it, I would say just because of how, like you were saying before, how hard it is to actually win the Champions League. I think that's why they put him in there, right? But again, it could have gone either way, and obviously we make good points. I would have voted for Thomas Tuchel, but like you said, I wouldn't be mad if it went any other way.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. So now we're nearing the end. Let me just see. Okay, you want to go over our fantasy prem team? You want to give a little
Yeah,
backstory?
let's
Like two
let's
weeks
get
in.
really yeah, let's get really nerdy here. So, this is the only time our team is really changing. Obviously, myself was busy last week, so we weren't able to put it up. This is the only time it's actually changed from the first week. So we are in a fantasy team. The pot pretty big. It's about I think it's about $1,500 or $1,500. We are trying to win it. I think we're doing great.
Hmm.
So we're just basically just going to go over who we picked and why we picked them and what we're going to be doing going into
The team's on screen here,
the next match day.
so everyone can see. Yeah. So I'll just quickly run through the names who we have. So we have Sanchez from Brighton as one of our keepers. Luke Shaw, Trent, Sufal, Rafinha, Bruno, Harvey Barnes, Mo Salah, Antonio, Danny Ings, fucking goat. We'll talk about that in a minute. Ivan Toney. Then on the bench we have Ben Foster, Ben White, Brownhill, and Shimmy Cass. So that's our team
Yeah.
right now. Now I'll just quickly go through two just so you guys can see. Game week 1, we got let's see. Game week 1 we scored 90 points. So this is kind of how the breakdown looked here. Obviously you see Salah we had captain with 34, Bruno vice captain with 20, Ings and Antonio. And then this past week that just happened, we scored 73 points. So this is the breakdown. Bruno and Salah let us down big time, but
Yeah.
luckily
Yeah.
Antonio
Yeah.
and Ings obviously and Trent and Jimmy Cass actually really
Yeah.
stepped up for us. So yeah,
Yeah. And I think,
yeah. Go ahead.
yeah. So I was just gonna say the team that we have right now. Obviously, like you said, last year Salah or last week Salah definitely Salah and Bruno both let us down. And Harvey Barnes is somebody that we're looking to change out. So if anybody, like you said, is nerdy like us and like these things, let us know what you think we should take out. But Harvey Barnes not been playing the best. When I watched the first game when Leicester played of the season, the whole team was playing like shit. So I didn't want to blame him. But obviously he's not getting that much points. So yeah, that's definitely somebody we're looking to change out.
Yeah, like we kind of believe in him, and he's got a good fixture coming up this week against Norwich. And I think that if he blanks again, then I'll probably move him on. Well, I think that we'll like decide that he should be moved on. But we like yeah, like I said, he's a big part of that Leicester team. He's a starter obviously, and
Huge. Yeah.
he has the ability to get a lot of points, score goals, and assists like Vardy and whatnot. So we just figured like he'd be a good piece to throw in because we were basically saying like Rafinha, who scored for us last week from Leeds, was a lock. He's 6.5 million on the game, which obviously if you guys didn't know, you get $100 million to spend or euros essentially to spend on the team, and each player is worth like a different amount. So if we go to transfers here, you can see, uh, like Mo Salah is worth 12.5 million. Trent is worth 7.5 million, and so on, right? So you kind of have to balance the team and pick up certain players that are cheaper and then more expensive, so you can have a balanced team. So that's why we have Bruno and Mo, who are 12 and 12.5 million. Then you have to have cheaper guys like Barnes, like Rafinha. And so basically, Rafinha 6.5 million is a steal. He's a really good player, and he's super
Hmm.
important for Leeds. So we thought we have to have him. Then obviously Salah and Bruno, especially at the beginning of the season, they always do really well, as we saw with Bruno's hat trick and Salah scoring a goal and getting 2 assists. So we feel like we had to have them, and we just needed like another filler guy. So we thought, Barnes, we'd like how he looked, threw him in,
Yeah,
kind of letting us down, but it is what it is. Okay, we move on.
yeah, it happens.
Yeah, it does happen. So here, you know what? I'm gonna let you talk about Danny because I know you love him, but just quickly, just to get it over with quickly. So for our keepers, just to explain the decision, Ben Foster, I just like Ben Foster. He's 4 million, which is like the cheapest you can get, and we obviously need to save money somewhere. And I have point 0.5 in the bank, so we could pick up like we have extra money to spend on different players. Say I wanted to upgrade Harvey Barnes, right? I could get a 7.5 million player instead of a 7 million player, like a straight swap. So just good to have extra money in the bank. So we save money on Ben Foster, and now Sanchez. Funnily enough, people may not agree with this or believe this, but Brighton actually has a really good defense, and Sanchez is a great keeper, and he makes a lot of saves, which will get us a lot of points. Now, last week he actually got us a clean sheet, so a quick 6 points
Huge.
for him. And I think that so that's basically what we got him. Like he's 4.5 million, so I'm not expecting a lot of points out of him. But every once in a while, he'll get us a clean sheet. He'll get us a few points with saves. Like that's what we're looking for essentially with our keeper, right? We're looking for 12, 11 points, like you see from the fullbacks here. Like that's why
Yeah,
we spend a lot on them.
if you don't have Alexander-Arnold on your team, I think he was like up there for the most points, if not the most points that he received. Like if you
Yeah,
don't have Trent Alexander-Arnold on your fantasy team, that is probably what you are doing wrong. Him or Robertson are like the perfect picks. Like
yeah.
Trent gets like what 10 points a game
Yeah,
at
because
at
defenders get
least.
more points. Like if you get an assist as a forward, it's less points than it is if you get an assist as a defender, right? Or a goal. And Trent takes free kicks and corners, so he's getting assists and goals, like you know what I mean, throughout the games. So he just gets a bunch of points. And obviously we have Shimicast in here, which we're gonna probably move on soon because he's the left back, but Robertson's injured, so Liverpool are playing with
Mhm.
Shimicast instead of Robertson. And we know that Liverpool likes to play with their wing backs, get crosses in, and their wingbacks get a lot of points, like get a lot of goals and
Their
assists.
wingbacks are basically playing like wingers for the most part. Like
Exactly.
Robertson is literally pressing like
Yeah, like they're
them
their
in their
left
own
back.
box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, like for example, last week Shimicast himself got an assist and a clean sheet, so that's 11 points that we got from him, right? And then Trent, obviously, same thing. He got an assist and a clean sheet as well. So
Hmm.
that's kind of the way that we look at that at the back. Go back into transfers here. Then we have Luke Shaw, which we picked up. Obviously, he had a great Euros, and we're hoping that he can continue that form throughout the year, start scoring some goals. And he was also dropping dime assists, even though it was against Ukraine. He's still been playing really good in the past month, so I thought he was going to come off really hot. Hasn't done too well for us lately. It's unfortunate because he should have got a clean sheet against Leeds, but Luke Ayling had a bomb outside the box right on De Gea's head, so that kind of
Yeah.
ruined the 6-0 for us. But it is what it is. I think he's gonna come good soon. I'm gonna keep him in the team for a while. And then obviously we have Sufal, 5 million defender here, and you can see he had an assist already against Leicester in their 4-1 win. He's from the Czech Republic. He plays on West Ham, and he is actually a really good player. I think he had 11 assists or 9 assists last season, which is a really good return. And him and Michael Antonio up top, which we'll get to in a minute, has really good fixtures. Like they play against a lot of bad teams at the start of the season, so we just think that him, which he actually his assist was to an Antonio goal, so it's basically double points. We think that both of them are going to do really well together, especially the first part of the season. So that's why we picked him up. You want to tell him
Exactly.
about
Yeah.
Danny, our boy Danny?
I'm a huge Danny fan. I
Yeah,
absolutely love Ings. He is the thing that people don't understand is like when he was on Southampton, this guy he scored like 25 goals, something
yeah.
like that. No, it was like 22 goals, something like
Hmm.
that. Like that's on South or like I think it's 21. Don't quote me, but it was like 20 plus. Okay,
Yeah,
and he was in the race for Golden Boot.
yep.
This is when he was playing on Southampton. Okay, and like again, nobody's rating Southampton as a team that could rate. So the fact that he's putting this many goals just shows that he's a proven clinical Premier League striker. Okay, so that is huge for us. He scores at least a game, like he scores once a game, or at least every other game,
Hmm.
obviously. So that's huge for us, and especially the reason why we have him, 3 weeks in a row, plays on a better team now. That you know if Austin Villa didn't make any transfers, they would still be a better team than Southampton, in my opinion. And now they also made transfers of players you can create. So I think Danny Ings is just getting started. It's a brand new team. We're going into the third game of the season. He'll light it up. Come basically towards the end of the year, right? So like we're
Yep.
talking about March and April, he will light it up.
Yep.
So huge pick. And again, Antonio, like Nick was saying, he's got a bad fixture coming up, or a great fixture for him coming up. I think with Antonio is like he is their West Ham's basically only
Yeah,
striker,
he's their main
right? So
guy.
any single time there's a goal, it usually comes from Antonio because he's their main guy. He can play target, target man. He can play on the
On the
he'll
right
go
or
out to the
whatever.
right, to the
Yeah.
left. Yeah, like he'll score you goals, and especially that with all the TV money and the fact that they're going to be in the Europa League as well now, they're going to be playing a lot more games. They're going to be playing with each other a lot more, and it's going to help Antonio get into form. So that's why you pick him up right away because he always plays great at the start of the season, and then he lights it up. March, April, May throughout the whole year. So those are two of the best strikers I personally think you can pick for their price.
Yep.
Uh,
Agreed.
Obviously, like I said, huge fan of Danny Ings. This guy
Yeah.
scores almost every single game. So
Yeah, we've got a good return on them too. Right now, Antonio's got 3 goals and 3 assists this season. Like just in the last 2 games, he got
yeah,
a goal and 2 assists against Newcastle, and then 2 goals and 1 assist against Leicester. So that's obviously a disgusting return. And then Danny Ings scored that bicycle kick against Newcastle as well in the last game,
no,
and he's got a goal in both games he's played. So you know what I mean? Like, what more can you ask from your strikers? So obviously we have
exactly.
them two, and then like I've been saying, guys, if you have Bruno and Mo Salah, who are 12 million each on your team, you have to take cuts other places. So that's why we have Ivan Toney at striker. I personally really believed in Ivan Toney. I watched a little bit of him, and he was in the championship, and I bought into the hype. I still think he's gonna come good, to be honest. Um, he still has some decent fixtures lined up for him coming up in the next 3 weeks. Hasn't scored yet, and Brentford obviously beat Arsenal, and then they lost, or they drew 0-0 to Crystal Palace, which I thought he was scoring as well. But he's a guaranteed starter. He takes pens for Brentford, and I think he's gonna come good. So he's kind of like one of our shots in the dark, kind of like Harvey Barnes. Both of them are just kind of shots in the dark. You know what you're
Mhm.
gonna get from Ings. You know what you're gonna get from Antonio. You know what you're gonna get from Trent, for example, Salah, Bruno, for whatever. Then after those players, you pick them up. You gotta kind of start taking some shots and just hope that you can get guys who are gonna do a job, and that's what we basically do with Barnes and Tony. So yeah, this is our team right now. It's looking pretty good though. The league that we're in is head to head, so we've won both our games. Obviously, we're getting high point tallies, so we're just trying to keep that momentum rolling here. For the next week, we're looking at a team kind of like this. I think I'm gonna give Bruno captaincy for Wolves, and then have Ings take the vice versus Brentford. Because obviously Salah's playing Chelsea, so we could
Mhm.
actually give the vice to Antonio because he's so hot right now against Crystal Palace, but still have a little bit of time to decide that. We're not 100% sure what we're gonna do, but this is kind of how we're looking coming up for this next week.
Yeah,
And yeah,
exactly. Because Chelsea plays so defensively, needless to say. So that's obviously what we're thinking about. Antonio playing Norwich. That's a great fixture for him to be putting in goals and assists, right? So yeah, I mean it's looking pretty good. We have not failed yet. Like our players, if somebody like Salah and Bruno have been slacking, our whole team is playing really well. So that's
hmm
like the really good thing about the players that we have. And one thing to also take in, like you'll never see us have like, you know, three guys from Chelsea and then like two guys from like Man City. Since so many games are going on and so many teams are playing different people, you want to have a large, you want to vary when you're picking up these players, right? The only people that I think we'll have, like usually we'll go with Robertson and Trent. That's like the most we'll have like on one team. But like
yeah,
as you can see, we have like Ings, Tony, and what Antonio, right? All up front for us. Like none of them are all matched up. Then you have like Salah, Bruno. Like you want to pick different players from different clubs, especially like the main guys, because that's just what's going to get you the most points.
yeah, exactly.
And we've been doing great so far. Like I think the team we're playing, they have Azpilicueta and Rudiger. So if they don't get a clean sheet, right? If Liverpool ends up scoring and beating them, he's gonna have two players that are gonna be affected by that,
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
So
It's too much of a risk to take. Like the only reason that we basically have Trent, Shimicas, and Salah from Liverpool is because they played against Norwich and Burnley the first 2 games, so that's just free
yeah,
points. Then obviously now we have Shimicas on the bench for this week, so we can save up our free transfers, and then by next week we'll have 3 free transfers. We can start making moves and move our team around a little bit, get Shimicas out, get
exactly.
somebody else in. So that's kind of that's pretty. You kind of got to plan like FPL like a couple weeks in advance, so you know what you're gonna do, and then stick to
Hmm.
that plan. That way you can kind of maximize like the most
Yeah.
points.
Exactly. Yeah, and we wanted to share with that. With some people, obviously, there's an audience for everything. So, if anybody's nerdy like us and likes to do this and likes to maintain it, definitely let us know what you guys are going in with and,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
who you're
please.
trying to pick. Because like we said, we've been doing a great job. I honestly think we're gonna win this league, especially if we're playing teams like this. I think we're doing great. But yeah, if anybody wants to give us feedback on who to pick, obviously there's always a dark horse. There's players who play better than others that we don't know about. So yeah, definitely let us know.
Yeah, please leave it in the comments. Tell me who I should get, who we should get for Barnes, who we should get for this guy. Tell me I'm stupid. Tell me my team sucks. Whatever you want to tell me, just tell me something, man, please.
Any feedback is good feedback, people.
All right, back to the camera now. It's been a good ride, been a good video. We've been going for hour 15 so far. It's not bad.
Yeah, no, a lot
It's
of
actually
things to
short.
go over, and obviously, like we said, any feedback is good feedback. Like if anybody has anything to question about our takes, our team, that just wants to give us any positive or negative feedback, please do. We're still in the works, so like we said, any feedback is good feedback.
You'll be missed, sir. You'll be missed. What a glorious man. Leaving behind a great legacy. Wow. What a day
Yes,
it's
he
been.
is.
What a
It
day it's
has.
been. All right, well, thank you for having me as always. It's been a pleasure. It's been fun. I'm gonna
Yes.
go cry myself to sleep.
And we will catch you guys in the next video of what obviously we want to talk about. Thanks, guys.